The screen of my phone glows in the dimness of my apartment, casting shadows across my tired face as I punch in the numbers. $460. Almost half a month's car payment vanishes with a tap. I hit transfer and watch my account balance shrink. It's done, Mom. The money should be in your account now. Oh, Lauren, you're a lifesaver. This plumbing disaster would have sunk us. Her voice rises with the particular pitch of gratitude I've grown accustomed to hearing. I promise we'll pay you back as soon as your father's pension check arrives. I glance around my studio apartment. Financial planning books line my small bookshelf beside budget spreadsheets waiting for my attention. The keys to my 2010 Toyota Corolla lie tossed beside a stack of unopened MBA program brochures on the counter. Another dream deferred. Don't worry about it, I say, meaning it and not meaning it simultaneously. That's what family's for. I don't know what we'd do without you, she says, her voice warm and sincere. You've always been our rock. We exchange a few more pleasantries before saying goodbye. I set my phone down and reach for my coffee mug, ready to tackle the spreadsheets waiting for me despite working until 8 tonight. The familiar weight of responsibility settles across my shoulders. Then I notice it. The call hasn't ended. The screen still shows the connection time ticking upward. Mom hasn't properly hung up. I reach to end it when laughter spills through the speaker, bright, uninhibited, and chillingly familiar. That was easy. She always falls for it. My mother's voice, but different, tharder, sharper. I freeze, coffee mug halfway to my lips. We could have fixed that for $40. My father's gruff response. Why bother when she bankrolls everything? The mug hovers, suspended by my suddenly rigid arm. I'll say I need software upgrades next week. That'll get another few hundred. My brother Colby's voice, smug and calculating. I just fake losing shifts. Riley's laughter rings through clearly. Works every time. My knuckles turn white around the ceramic handle. The living room shrinks around me, air suddenly thick and unbreathable. These voices, the ones that have shaped my entire life, suddenly sound alien, monstrous. She really thinks she's special? Mom again, her tone dripping with something I've never heard directed at me before. Contempt. Please. She was a mistake. Had her too young, ruined everything. More laughter follows, casual and cruel. The sound of glasses clinking. They're having drinks, celebrating the successful con, celebrating at my expense. The mug slips from my fingers and shatters against the hardwood floor. Coffee splashes across my bare feet, hot enough to sting, but I barely register it. The sound must be audible through the phone because there's a sudden silence. Did you hear something? Dad asks. Probably just the cat, Mom responds. Anyway, Lauren's promotion would have been a disaster for us. Denver, can you imagine? Who would pay the mortgage? My mind catapults back 2 weeks. The conference room with its gleaming table, Mr. Miles leaning forward with excitement in his eyes. Senior lead analyst in our Denver office, Lauren. 15% salary increase, relocation bonus, fast track to the executive team. You've earned this. My elation had carried me all the way to my parents' home that evening, where I'd announced the news over a dinner I'd paid for. Mom's eyes had immediately welled with tears. But what about your father's medical appointments? I can't drive him myself with my back problems. Dad had stared at his plate. Just when we were finally getting ahead. Timing's never right, I guess. Colby had mentioned his tuition payments coming due. Riley had reminded me about helping with her car insurance. By dessert, the promotion had transformed from achievement to betrayal. By coffee, I decided to decline it. Now, standing in my apartment with the pieces of my shattered mug surrounding my feet, I stare at the phone still broadcasting their true feelings. I need to check the basement for that box of Lauren's old trophies, Mom says distantly. The Salvation Army is coming tomorrow. The trophies I'd asked her to keep. The memories I couldn't fit in my tiny apartment but couldn't bear to throw away. I end the call with trembling fingers, then sink onto my sofa. Disbelief gives way to a churning in my stomach as I open my laptop. With methodical precision, I pull up my banking records. The truth reveals itself in columns of numbers stretching back years. Car repairs, medical bills, Colby's tuition, Riley's rent shortfalls, Mom's dental work, Dad's truck payments. Thousands upon thousands of dollars. My retirement account sits nearly empty while my parents' mortgage, which I've been paying for 3 years, is almost paid off. A single tear slides down my cheek, not of sadness but of fury, of recognition. My whole adult life has been a carefully orchestrated extraction of resources, of me. I swipe the tear away with the back of my hand and something shifts inside me, hardening like a concrete setting. My posture straightens as I pick up my phone and dial. Mr. Miles? It's Lauren Emery. My voice trembles initially, then steadies with each word. About that Denver position, is it still available? I'm ready. As I speak, I rise to my feet. My shoulders straighten, my spine lengthens. For the first time in years, I stand tall without the weight of my family bending my back. Yes, I say, my voice growing stronger. I can start in 2 weeks. The soft glow of my laptop screen illuminates the scattered papers across my desk at 2 a.m. that same night. I haven't slept. My body runs on a cocktail of rage and determination as powerful as any caffeine. The spreadsheet before me tells a story in numbers cold, undeniable evidence of my family's calculated exploitation. 3 years, I whisper, staring at the mortgage payment column. 36 consecutive months of transferring $1,275 to my parents' account. My fingers hover over the calculator. $45,900. Just for their mortgage. It doesn't include the emergencies, the car repairs, the medical bills, the endless stream of just until next month requests that never stopped coming. I open another folder on my laptop labeled Messages and scroll through screenshots I've been saving without fully understanding why. Something in me must have known, even as I ignored the warning signs. Mom, 8 months ago. Lauren, honey, the fridge is making that noise again. Can you send $650 for repairs? Your father is too proud to ask. Colby, 6 months ago. Tuition payment due. Need $1,200 by Friday. Will pay back next month. Riley, 3 months ago. Manager cut my hours again. Short on rent. Need $800. I'll make it up to you. Next month never came. The paybacks never materialized. The calendar on my wall tells another storied circles around holidays and birthdays. Each one represents an event where I bought all the gifts, prepared all the food, paid for everything while they arrived empty-handed with elaborate excuses. I pull out my bank statements, methodically highlighting every withdrawal. The contrast between my spending and theirs jumps off the page. Their vacations, their new cars, their home renovations. All while I drive a 10-year-old Corolla and cancel my dental cleanings to save money. The room suddenly feels too small. I stand up, pacing the worn carpet of my apartment. The irony crushes me. I manage million-dollar portfolios at work, but surrendered control of my own finances to people who saw me as nothing but an ATM. A mistake. A resource to be drained. The memory of my mother's voice replays in my head. She was a mistake. Had her too young ruined everything. My hand slams down on the desk, sending papers flying. A frame topples over a family photo from Christmas last year. Me in the center, arms around everyone, beaming with pride as I stand in front of the tree I bought, surrounded by gifts I wrapped, in the home my money maintains. Looking closer at the photo, I notice something I missed before. While I smile broadly at the camera, they're all looking at each other, sharing some private joke. The same smug expressions I've seen 1,000 times but never properly interpreted. The photo slips from my fingers back onto the desk. I open a new spreadsheet and title it Extraction Plan. First item, close joint checking account. Second, stop automatic mortgage payments. Third, cancel shared phone plan. Fourth, return to Mr. Miles with relocation timeline. The list grows as the night deepens. With each entry, the pressure in my chest eases slightly. For the first time in years, I'm planning for myself. Just myself. A knock at my door startles me. It's past 3 in the morning. Lauren, you still up? Sarah's voice comes through the door. My coworker from the cubicle next to mine lives down the hall, a coincidence that never mattered much until now. I open the door to find her in flannel pajamas, concern etching her face. I saw your light on when I got back from my shift, she says, then notices the papers strewn across my floor. Everything okay? No, I answer honestly. Nothing is okay. Sarah steps inside without waiting for an invitation. She surveys the financial autopsy I've laid out across my apartment. What happened? She asks simply. The story pours out of me in jagged bursts: the accidental phone call, the years of financial bleeding, the Denver opportunity, everything. Sarah listens without interruption, her expression changing from concern to outrage. When I finish, she picks up the family photo I'd dropped. My sister did the same thing for our parents for years, she says quietly. Gave them everything until there was nothing left of her, financially or emotionally. What happened? I ask. Sarah places the photo face down on the desk. She walked away. Had to. Sometimes love means walking away. The words hit me with unexpected force. Walking away. The concept feels foreign, almost blasphemous. Family stays. Family sacrifices. Family endures. But the family doesn't take advantage. Family doesn't mock. Family doesn't call you a mistake. In the morning, my phone buzzes with a text message. My mother's name appears on the screen. The mortgage payment didn't go through. There must be some mistake with the bank. Can you fix it right away? My finger hovers over the banking app. The familiar pattern calls to me: transfer the money, smooth things over, maintain peace. One more payment wouldn't make a difference. Sarah watches silently as I waver. She called me a mistake, I whisper, remembering my mother's words from the accidental phone call. She said I ruined everything. My finger moves away from the banking app. Instead, I type a reply I never thought I'd send. I'm sorry, but I can't help anymore. The moment I press send, something shifts inside me. The weight I've carried for years doesn't disappear, but it changes form from a burden crushing me into the ground to a backpack I can choose to set down. What happens now? Sarah asks. I look at my extraction plan spreadsheet, at the evidence of years of exploitation spread across my desk, at the face-down family photo. Now, I say with surprising steadiness, I stop paying for my own destruction. My phone vibrates for the 8th time in an hour that morning. Mom's name flashes on the screen again. I tap the red circle and watch with grim satisfaction as her call vanishes into the void. 3 seconds later, a text appears. Your father can't pick up his heart medication without that money. Do you want him to die? The caps lock screams at me from the screen. My jaw tightens as I pull up my banking app, scrolling through years of transfers. Dad's heart medication has been a recurring theme: $220 last March, $180 in November, $250 in January. Funny how the price fluctuates so wildly. Funnier still how he managed to finish an entire beer in one gulp during that overheard phone call while supposedly being at death's door. I set the phone face down on my kitchen counter and continue packing dishes into a cardboard box. The new lease in Denver sits signed on my counter, my start date at Meridian Financial circled in red on my calendar. 2 weeks, 14 days until freedom. A sharp knock rattles my apartment door. Lauren, it's Colby. Open up, sis. Heat flashes up my neck. I freeze, a coffee mug suspended between my hands and the newspaper wrapping. I know you're in there. Your car's outside. His voice carries through the thin door, echoing down the hallway. I set the mug down and step quietly to the peephole. My brother leans against the wall opposite my door, his lanky frame slouched in practiced nonchalance. His eyes flick toward the peephole, and I step back instinctively. This is childish, Lauren. The family's worried sick about you. She was a mistake. Had her too young, ruined everything. Mother's words echo in my head. I grip the edge of my counter until my fingertips turn white. Mom's a wreck. Riley's crying all the time. Dad can't sleep. Is that what you wanted? To punish everyone because of some imagined slight? Imagined. My laptop sits open on the coffee table, spreadsheet columns revealing the truth. $42,876 transferred to family members over 3 years. My retirement account, $1,240. Their mortgage, nearly paid off. I don't move, don't breathe. Fine, his voice sharpens. Be that way. Mom says she always knew you'd abandon us when you got too big for your britches. His footsteps retreat down the hallway. The front door of the building slams with unnecessary force. Only then do I exhale. My phone buzzes with a notification. I grab it, expecting another text barrage, but it's Instagram. Riley has posted a black and white photo of herself staring forlornly out a window. The caption reads, "When the one person who was supposed to always be there walks away without explanation. Abandoned. Broken family. Heartbreak." 27 sympathetic comments follow. Aunt Carol stands out. "Your sister always seemed so devoted. I can't believe she'd just cut you all off like this." A laugh bubbles up from my chest, sharp and unfamiliar. The family propaganda machine works quickly. I tap the block button on Riley's profile. Then Mom's, then Dad's, then Colby's. With each tap, my shoulders lower a fraction of an inch. I switch to my email, fingers flying over the keyboard as I draft a message to all of them. "I heard everything you said that night. Every word about how I was a mistake. How I've been nothing but an ATM to you. How you've manipulated me for years. I know exactly what you think of me now, and I'm done. Do not contact me again." I stare at the screen, cursor hovering over send. 3 years of therapy condensed into 4 sentences. I hit the button before I can reconsider. My phone begins ringing immediately. I silence it and open my contacts, scrolling to my service provider. 20 minutes later, I have a new number that only Mr. Miles, HR, and my new landlord in Denver possess. The silence in my apartment feels different now. Not empty, clean. I stand in the center of my living room and look around at the half-packed boxes. My life fits into so little space. Without 5 people draining my accounts, my possessions seem almost embarrassingly minimal. The U-Haul reservation is for next Tuesday, but suddenly waiting feels unbearable. I grab my laptop, cancel the existing reservation, and book a new one for tomorrow. The additional fee stings, but for once, I'm spending money on what I want. 3 hours later, most of my belongings sit in neatly labeled boxes. I drag them toward the door one by one, ready for morning loading. My back aches, but the pain feels earned. Mine. As I tape shut the final box, my new phone rings. Unknown number. "Hello? Lauren? It's Grandma Wilson." My heart contracts. "Grandma, how did you get this number?" "Your mother told everyone you had a breakdown. She's calling everyone, telling them you need help. She even contacted your work. Some man named Miles?" The floor seems to tilt beneath me. "She did what?" "I told her she shouldn't meddle with your job, but she said desperate times call for desperate measures." I hang up without saying goodbye and immediately dial Mr. Miles. "Lauren," he answers on the second ring. "I was about to call you. Your mother contacted HR claiming you're experiencing a mental health crisis and need family medical leave." My blood turns to ice. "Mr. Miles, I told them I'd spoken with you this morning about your relocation plans and you sounded perfectly rational. HR has noted in your file not to share any information with your family moving forward." For the first time in weeks, tears spring to my eyes. Not from hurt, but from relief, from being believed. "Thank you," I whisper. "Lauren, I've been in management for 20 years. I know exploitation when I see it. Denver's ready when you are." I end the call and look around at my boxed-up life. Tomorrow can't come soon enough. 3 weeks later, I had already moved to the office in Denver. Family drama is not over yet, but the notification from my banking app glows on my phone screen while I am in the cafe. Automatic transfer to retirement complete. For the first time in my adult life, I'm watching my own accounts grow instead of drain. I tap through to view my balance 4 digits where there used to be 2 and a smile tugs at my lips. "What's that look about?" Sarah asks, settling into the chair across from me at the coffee shop. Her copper hair catches the morning light as she sets down her latte. "Just adulting properly for once." I slide my phone away, still marveling at the transformation 3 months in Denver has created. My financial advisor would be proud. "You mean you're proud of yourself?" Sarah corrects, giving me a pointed look. "Take the win, Lauren." My phone buzzes again. Another text from a number I don't recognize. 6th one this week. "Lauren, please call your mother. She's not eating, worried sick about you." I show Sarah the screen. My Aunt Clara. Mom must have recruited her for the cause. "How'd she get your new number?" "HR directory, probably." I delete the message without responding. Sarah's eyebrows shoot up. "That's crossing a line." They crossed that line a long time ago. I sip my coffee, surprised by my own calm. Colby's been messaging mutual friends. Riley started a GoFundMe claiming mom needs emergency surgery. You're joking. I wish. I pull up the page on my phone. There's my mother, looking fragile in a hospital gown, an oxygen tube strategically placed despite no medical need. The campaign has raised $2,300 already. The woman who claimed I was a mistake now needs my financial support more than ever. Have you reported it? This morning. I tuck my phone away. I sent GoFundMe her Facebook post from last weekend's shopping spree. Sarah shakes her head. They really don't know when to quit. They've never had to, I say, finishing my coffee. Until now. Back at my apartment, I open my laptop and log into my investment account. The bonus from my first quarterly performance review sits ready for allocation. $3,000 more money than I've had at once in years. My finger hovers over the transfer button. A familiar voice whispers in my head. Your father's medication is expensive, Riley's car insurance is due, Colby needs his tuition paid. I click transfer funds and watch the money move into my investment portfolio instead. My phone lights up with a text from Mr. Miles. Presentation was outstanding. Executive team specifically mentioned your analysis. Drinks with the team Friday? The compliment warms me more than it should. Recognition without a price tag attached still feels foreign. I cross to the window of my apartment, smaller than my Portland place but filled with more possibilities. The Denver skyline stretches before me, mountains looming beyond. Below, a car dealer's lot gleams with vehicles I'd never permitted myself to consider. That afternoon, I drove off the lot in a new Mazda CX-5. Not extravagant, but mine. Completely mine. No co-signer, no justification needed, no guilt. When I post a single photo on Instagram beside the car, Keys and Hand Me phone nearly explodes with notifications. Most are congratulatory. 3 are from my family. How can you afford that when we can't pay our bills? Mom? Must be nice to be selfish, Colby. So this is why you abandoned us, Riley. I don't respond, but I don't delete the photo either. Instead, I adjust my privacy settings, limiting who can see my future posts. That evening, I drafted a careful email to my extended family. Not a rant, not a plea, just facts. Dates, amounts, and screenshots of bank transfers stretching back 5 years. The final tally: $42,678 given to my family while I lived paycheck to paycheck. I attached the recording legally obtained in Oregon's one-party consent state of my family laughing about their deception. I'm not sharing this to hurt anyone. I write, I'm sharing it because the story you're hearing isn't true. I haven't abandoned my family, I've simply stopped allowing financial abuse. I end with a simple statement. I wish them well, but I need to build my own life now. When I finally press send, my hands shake, but my resolve doesn't. This isn't revenge, it's reclaiming my narrative. My former landlord, Mr. Peterson, emails me hours later. Your cousin reached out asking about you. I told her exactly what I've observed these past 3 years, that you're the most responsible, generous person I know, and that your family should be ashamed for taking advantage of that. Hope that was okay. I read his words 3 times, surprised by the tears that spring to my eyes. Sometimes validation comes from unexpected places. That night, I slept without checking my phone once. No emergency calls, no last-minute financial rescues, no voices but my own in my head as I drift off. For the first time, I dream of mountains instead of drowning. The phone rings just as I'm arranging tulips in a cobalt vase, my apartment bathed in morning light that couldn't have existed in Portland's perpetual gray. 6 months of Denver sunshine has brightened more than just my living space. I check the caller ID. Grandma Ruth. My finger hovers over the screen. Unlike my mother's calls that I've blocked without remorse, Grandma's number stirs something tender inside me. I answer. Lauren, sweetheart? Her voice quavers, frailer than I remember. I need to talk to you about your mother. I cradle the phone between ear and shoulder, returning to my flowers. What about her? She's not well, honey. The doctors found. Well, she wouldn't want me telling you exactly what, but it's serious. A calculated pause. She's asking for you. The familiar weight begins to settle across my shoulders before I recognize it and straighten my spine. I place a tulip stem precisely in the arrangement before responding. Grandma, did Mom mention I sent over $42,000 to them in the past 3 years? Silence stretches between us. I can almost see her fingers clutching her cardigan buttons the way they always do when she's surprised. That much? No, she never mentioned. Would you like to hear something, Grandma? I interrupt, voice steady. I have a recording I think you should listen to. Without waiting for her answer, I pull up the audio file on my laptop, the one I've kept like a talisman, a reminder when doubt creeps in. I hold the phone to the speaker and press play. My mother's voice fills the space between us. That was easy. She always falls for it. My father. We could have fixed that for $40. Why bother when she bankrolls everything? The cruel laughter, the mockery, the admission that I was a mistake who ruined everything. I end the playback and return the phone to my ear. The silence on the other end feels heavier than before. Oh, Lauren, Grandma's voice breaks. I had no idea. I know you didn't, I say softly. They've been lying to everyone. They said you abandoned them without explanation, she whispers. That you had some kind of breakdown. I'm sending you something, I tell her, fingers already moving across my keyboard. Check your email in 5 minutes. I hang up and finish what I started weeks ago, the comprehensive evidence file I've compiled methodically, the way I build financial models at work. The spreadsheet detailing every payment I've made to my family over 3 years. Screenshots of text messages showing their pattern of manipulation. Bank statements highlighting the contrast between my frugal existence and their spending habits. And the recording, legally obtained in Oregon where only one party needs to consent. Subject line: the truth about why I left. I press send and wait. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzes with a text from Grandma. Meeting family tonight. Not inviting your parents yet. We'll call tomorrow. I set my phone down and return to my flowers, surprised by the steadiness in my hands. 3 days pass before Sarah forwards me the first Facebook post. My mother is sitting behind a register at Fairview Grocery, her face pinched with barely contained fury as she scans a carton of eggs. Your mom's working at the grocery store, Sarah writes. Word around Portland is your dad has put the house up for sale. I stare at the image, expecting satisfaction to bloom inside me. Instead, there's a curious emptiness, not loss, but space. Room to breathe. Later that evening, a text arrives from an unknown number. This is Riley. Had to get a new phone because I can't afford the bill anymore. Moved back home, but it's awful. Mom and Dad fight constantly about money. Colby's working double shifts at the warehouse. Everything's falling apart without you. I read it twice before typing, I'm sorry things are difficult. The response comes immediately. Can you help? Just this once? I set the phone down without answering and walk to my balcony. The Denver skyline glimmers against the approaching dusk, mountains looming dark against the horizon. For the first time, I feel the vastness of the distance I've put between myself and Portland, not just physical miles, but emotional light years. When I return to my phone, there's an email waiting. From gemery58@gmail.com. Subject: I'm sorry. Lauren, I know you won't believe this, but I'm sorry. I never meant for things to go this far. We took advantage of your generosity because it was easy, and now we're paying the price. Your father and I are separating. The house is being sold to cover debts. I'm working at the grocery store again after 15 years. I understand why you left. I would have left too. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking if you could help one last time with $2,000 for a security deposit on an apartment. After everything, I have nowhere to go. Mom. The familiar script: emergency, urgent need, one last time. The words that once would have sent me rushing to the bank now read like a foreign language I've finally stopped trying to learn. I click reply and type 5 words. I've given you enough already. My finger hovers over the send button, but instead I move to delete. The message disappears with a soft whoosh, like a burden finally set down after a long journey. Outside, the Denver night wraps around me like a blanket, stars appearing one by one in the darkening sky. For the first time in years, I feel the weight of my family lifting from my shoulders, releasing me into the person I was always meant to become. The morning sun streams through my balcony windows, casting golden rectangles across the hardwood floor of my Denver apartment. I stretch my arms overhead, feeling the pleasant pull of muscles that remember yesterday's hike in the foothills. My gaze drifts to the row of potted herbs thriving on the windowsill: basil, mint, rosemary, green and vibrant against the clear Colorado sky. 1 year. 365 days since I placed that call to Mr. Miles, since I stood tall for the first time in years. I run my fingers along the spines of the books on my shelf, financial planning volumes now accompanied by MBA textbooks, their pages dog-eared and highlighted. Financial accounting sits open on my desk beside handwritten notes for tomorrow's midterm. First semester, nearly complete. My phone buzzes with a text from Sarah. Trail run or brunch tomorrow after your exam? Either way, we're celebrating. I smile and type back, both. Earn the pancakes first. The ease of this friendship still surprises me sometimes. No hidden agendas, no tally of favors owed, just genuine connection. I pour coffee into the ceramic mug I painted at one of those wine and art nights last month, a simple mountain landscape in blues and purples. The mug is slightly lopsided, imperfect. I love it all the more for that. My calendar notification pings. Dr. Whitman, 2 p.m. Therapy Tuesday. Once a burden, now a cornerstone of my week. I pull my journal from the desk drawer, flipping through pages that track more than numbers now. Early entries overflow with anger, confusion, betrayal. The middle sections chronicle panic attacks and 3 a.m. doubts. Recent pages record small victories. Said no to covering Andrea's shift without apologizing. Bought concert tickets without checking my budget twice. Told Mark what I really thought about his project idea. The phone rings. I check the caller ID, feeling the familiar tightening in my stomach, but it's just Grandma Rose. Lauren, sweetheart, how's my favorite analyst? Managing portfolios and memories, I say, smiling into the phone. How are things back home? Bad, but they will manage, she said. And Colby? Riley? Colby's working 2 jobs now. Pride colors her voice. Actual jobs, Lauren. Barista mornings and bartending nights. Paying his own rent for the first time in his life. Good for him, I say, meaning it. And Riley called yesterday, asking for your number. Grandma pauses. I said I'd check with you first. The request hangs between us. 6 months ago, I would have reflexively said no. 3 months ago, I would have agonized over the decision for days. Tell her she can email me, I say after a moment. Let's start small. Wise girl, Grandma says softly. Now tell me about this Thanksgiving dinner you're hosting. I glance at my kitchen tableau, not large, but big enough for the 6 people I've invited. Sarah, Mr. Miles and his wife, Dr. Whitman, 2 colleagues who've become friends. It's nothing fancy. Turkey, stuffing, that cranberry salad recipe you sent. A table full of people who actually care about you, Grandma says. Sounds fancy enough to me. After we hang up, I move to the balcony with my coffee. The Rocky Mountains rise in the distance, their peaks dusted with early snow. I open my journal to a fresh page and write the date at the top. Below it, I begin a letter. Dear 25-year-old Lauren. You know that weight across your shoulders? The one that feels like responsibility but is actually exploitation? You don't have to carry it, not one more day. I used to believe love meant sacrifice, but if you have to pay to be loved, that's not love. Family doesn't manipulate, shame, or drain you. Walking away wasn't selfish. It was survival. 5 years from now, you'll be standing on a balcony watching the sun play across mountain peaks. You'll have friends who show up without needing anything. You'll have professors who challenge your thinking. You'll have a savings account with actual savings. Most importantly, you'll have yourself back. The woman you're becoming sends you this promise. It gets better. It gets so much better. I close the journal, letting my fingertips linger on its cover. The sun warms my face as I gaze toward the mountains, their ancient peaks testament to what remains after pressure and time. Next week, I'll lead my first financial literacy workshop for women. Recognizing financial abuse sits at the top of my lesson plan. 10 women have already signed up. My phone buzzes with another notification. Email from the MBA program director. Scholarship opportunity for first-generation college graduates. I smile, thinking of the application I'll submit. Not just for myself, but for that 25-year-old girl still learning her own worth. The mountain light shifts, painting my balcony in amber and gold. I breathe deeply, filling my lungs with thin, clean air. Freedom has a scent, it turns out. It smells like possibility.